Excellent. All right. Well, that brings us through to one of my favorite segments of the evening. This is where I get to learn a whole lot of stuff. No pressure, Janine. In fact, Janine Fraser is our guest speaker tonight, waiting patiently in the wings there, probably looking at some of those tools there, thinking, oh, maybe I should be incorporating some of those, or maybe not. But for those that don't know Janine, I've known her for a very, very long time. Well, actually not that long, because both of us are still super young. Janine is a business growth specialist, and she helps struggling business owners get their time and their lifestyle back. So, if you know anyone in business, I know there'll be no one here, but if you know anyone in business who feels like the business is consuming all of their lifestyle rather than giving them a lifestyle, Janine is the person that helps to solve that problem there. And the way she does that is she helps businesses to implement frameworks and foundations and really streamline their workflows and implementation processes. So her whole work week hinges on using savvy tech within her role. So she's on her computer, head in there, so trying to work out all of these tools and things. I give you an overview of how these things work. She gets in there and really pulls the thing apart and works out how it's going to work for business. So to keep on top of what works, she prioritizes building her knowledge. She updates what she knows, and she also invests in and attends a whole lot of different business trainings, business networking events as well. So she's across a whole lot of things. The key for her is knowing what works well for you within your business, because not all tools and apps are going to be appropriate for you. That really is the secret sauce and the stepping stone to becoming more efficient. And that stepping stone, of course, is technology. So that's what she's an absolute master and genius at. And she gives me a run for my money when talking about apps and tools as well. So I love you to put your hands together to welcome along Janine Fraser.
Oh, thank you, Nick, and thank you, crew. Good to have you here today. I'll go in and share my screen. Get the right one. Thumbs up for me if you can see.
All looking good.
Awesome. Fabulous. So, yeah, once again, thanks, Nick, for having us on. I'm very privileged to be here. Tonight, we're talking all things productivity. We all want this. We all need it. We need to create more time in our day. The more we're organized, the more productive you are going to be in each day, week, month, and eventually year. So to achieve more productivity, we need to look at making changes. I know changes, that word, we do have to embrace change. Being ready to delegate if you have a team or you're looking to do a team, and be ready to implement. So tonight we're talking all about powering up your productivity and revamping your office admin workflow. So on any given day we have a plan, then something might happen and you have to change your plans, which does happen on a daily occurrence, trust me. These changes at the spur of the moment can throw you off what you had planned and throw you into the deep end of what I'm up to now. So to take you back onto that important task, and then it's hard to get refocused. Sometimes procrastination creeps in, or those shiny little rabbit holes that Nick always goes down, and getting your focus back becomes more difficult. Now, if you had a workflow and you had it documented for every single process you do on a daily basis in your business, you can meet that inevitable brick wall, and it takes the distraction away, because you can go, oh, hold on, what do I do in my day? So whether it's going back to your calendar and having it structured in there, or whether it's written down in notes. I'm a big online automation girl, as you know. However, I do still use paper, so never fear. Nothing wrong with having paper. But the less distractions, the better productivity you're going to have. So reiterating, change is inevitable. You will have to make decisions. And by revamping your office admin workflow, this leads to increased productivity and efficiency. Fantastic. Tonight, we're learning to become more efficient, to look at some savvy solutions to save you time, energy, and at the end of the day, cold hard cash. Who does not want to save any money? Put your hands up. Is there anyone with their hands up, Nick? Good Lord, I'm all about saving money. It's hard enough to earn as it is. So who has implemented workflows for every task that they do in their business on a daily or weekly basis? Do we have a hands up? No. Okay, we'll keep going. Has anyone started implementing workflows and processes in the business? Now, you can have, thank you, Nick, you can have workflows for just you. You don't need it if you have a team, but obviously when you get a team, you do need it. You do need to keep abreast of it. Who doesn't think, with a show of hands, that you need workflow or you need it documented? You don't need it, Nick. Okay. Right. So I do have a workflow. I do have a offshore team that I've started and an onshore team, and I reassess these workflows every quarter because of that change or that ebb or the structure. It may not be working. So we do reassess that on a regular basis. The pain points, if you're using outdated workflows, it is time consuming because then that workflow becomes obsolete and it goes back to a manual process. Limited access to real-time information, which again takes time away from what you should be doing. Increased risk of errors and miscommunication. Procrastination, it is real and we all do suffer from it from time to time. And then it leaves you no time to learn and to upskill, to then put something more in place, as in a better solution for what's not working for you. So we'll have to do that. Are you ready for change? Is anyone here not ready for change? Let me know now in the notes or the chat box, and Nick will tell me if they're not ready for change. Best you leave this presentation because it is all about change. Oh, so tonight, instead of confusing everyone about how many different workflows and what different solutions there are, I've just picked one, but it can be used to get in the process to dive into it, can be used with everything that you do in your business. And the task that I've picked tonight is customer incoming and outgoing calls, and that then connects to your customer service. So how you get that prospect from when you first answer the phone to how you keep it warm for conversation into your sales, and then how you close it. Because for me, customer calls and customer service go hand in hand. If you fail to write down details when the phone rings, you will create yourself more work. Now, instead of writing down details on a jotter pad, there's a couple of different places that you can be doing this that will streamline the amount of time that you use on taking that task down. And then when you get off the phone, guessing to remember a conversation is, again, a time waster. So you need to document what's happening. If you're delegating these tasks, it makes it easy to train and to retain team members if they have a process that they can rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's very, very simple, and it becomes riding a bike. The business phone gets answered the same way each time if you have a process or if you have a call script, and then that comes across in your branding. So if you're doing call strips, have a look at the words you've got on your website, have a look at the words you use in your social media, and maybe incorporate them in how you answer the phone. It goes across your branding. So benefits of a revamped workflow: boosting your productivity. It reduces your errors if you write everything down, but then you want to be able to utilize that straight away instead of retyping and retyping. Updates your customer service. It can boost your employee morale because you're making things easier for them, and it becomes an automatic part of their flow in their day. And there's less time in training new staff because you've already got it written down. It's already a learned system. Hence why we revise it constantly every quarter so that everyone has a voice in how we do things. Well, that's what I tend to do anyway. Inbound calls and outbound calls. From these calls, they may trigger an email. So when the phone rings, someone wants something, it may trigger an email. That might trigger an appointment that needs to be set. Then that same call may trigger an updating of your sales systems and sales funnels. Then that can also trigger at the same time an update in your CRM. So that's 4 different actions of one phone call coming in. So when you look at having all this written down, think to yourself around whatever task you're trying to rebuild. Which tools do you use for each trigger currently? How much does this cost to use each of the tool? Do you have to re-enter your data more than once into the tool if it doesn't have any automations? And is it app-based? Because, you know, Aldwin's back from traveling. I've been up and down. I know Jenny Mutu, if she's on our call tonight, she travels every week. So everything's got to be accessible if you truly want to buy your time back at the end of the day. And how much time does it take to do each process? So if you write an answer for all of those questions, then you can then start building a new workflow. And do you have the process written down of how you action it step by step? So down here, it's all written. Basically, you write down the task of the day, which we're talking about having phone calls in and out, emails to action outcomes, calendar updates to actions, update CRM with the action, and then you follow up and you rinse and you repeat. So that's basically what I do off a phone call. And I do have it documented for the team and myself, and I do it the same way every time. What I want to know is if you don't have it documented, why not? Even if it's yourself, I know when I get busy, if I know that the phone rings and then I answer it exactly the same way every time. It's like when you go to make your coffee, you know, you don't think, you're working on sort of autopilot. So if you don't have it documented to be able to upscale, eventually it will cost you some money. So our solution from that, which is what works for me, there are a million ways to do things out there, and there are a million tools that can do all of these tasks and the same task. Our tool of choice is Google. I prefer to work in Google. However, a lot of my clients are in Microsoft and 365 and other tools. So, but for me, Google is the easiest for my team. Everyone gets it and everyone uses it. So beyond business consultants, we process with the clients. This is how we assess how we help them, what the client uses already, because look, they've put money and time and energy into what they use. They might not understand the program that they're using. So let's look at what you've got already and how we can best skill you up on using it. We research their workflow. So this is a lot of very tricky questions. And it's like, why does she ask mundane questions? Because I don't know what your workflow is if I haven't been in your business. We present with a possible solution. Now, with the possible solution, I sort of say, hey, have a look at this from what you've told me about what you do in your workflow and what you've told me what you use as a cloud-based solution. Have a look at this as another possible solution to solve that major pain point in your workflow. So today I'm talking about the phones, obviously. I then map out the process in a diagram, because a lot of people love seeing something in front of them rather than just talking a lot of words. So that's what I tend to do, and document the process, and if need be, help them implement it. So with our solution over here, talking phones, we template the phone script, which is a lot of their own wording and grammar. We do our research off their websites and their socials. We compile a frequently asked question list, which then is already written for those tricky little questions. We template email offers and responses, so into the back of Gmail and another little tool I'll show you later. All the templates sit there, and then we just custom the intro and salutation at the end. We do real-time calendar updates, and we send them as well straight away, and then we schedule any follow-ups or make a notation in tasks to schedule follow-ups. In Google, I can do all of that and more. Obviously, you've got your calendar booking, and I can set up reminders that can go daily, hourly, weekly, and it goes to myself, to my phone, and if I want it, to my laptop. Meetings, I do all my meetings now on Google. I know there are some Zoom preferers in the room, but Google does it all for me, and it has the same capabilities as what Zoom does, in my opinion, just saying my opinion. Emails, obviously, we can template 1,000,000 on one of them. Documents, I'm using scripts and forms at the moment. That's where I put all my scripts and forms. There's another platform I'm just going to give you a sneak peek at tonight. I'm not sure if anyone knows it. It's called Streak. That houses my CRM and my sales pipeline, and that does connect straight into Google. And there's another platform, GMass, which is my email marketing campaign engine. And then obviously to chat with my team, I put it into the chat feature in Google, and then I document all of my IP in Google product as well. So you can see why I get excited around Google is because I don't need to leave the platform, and it's 1 or 2 more clicks off a window pane. So that we or you work with a team and in unison. This is one of my teams. I said to them, create me a document that we all use when we answer the phone. And this is what they came back with. I give them license to create their own little documents so that they buy into the process and have an understanding of how it works. Having a visual aid for everyone is easier because if they get a bit lost of what they're meant to do next in the process, it's all written down and the task the same. So number 1, we answer, as you can see, answer the call, listen, document, reiterate. I always do that on a phone call, especially if I'm asking it on behalf of a client because I do inbound calls. I always reiterate what the message is. Read back the phone number, make sure I've got the name right, and 99% of the time, try and get an email address out of them. Because the clients in my world, if they can't connect via phone, then that client can quickly email a response. So the communication is always there. Answer and action anything we can action, and then keep it all updated. Then we come down here for this particular workflow, we add anything to a calendar. Remember, this is off phone calls. We set up a meeting, we come around, we add email addresses, any notes, we set any details, whether it's via phone, add the appointment, set up any automations, add more notes. You can add attach notes and update streak, and then action any workflow. And the 3 main things we use obviously are Google, GMass, emails, and Calendly. Calendly is my best friend. Okay, so going back to Google, and I mentioned working in Google Docs and things like that. So going to answer the phones, I've got Google Forms, which I'll try and throw into chat. Maybe I'll have to do it after. Google Forms, so I set up a form and basically it's a ready reckoner. Someone pulls in that form, or my team can use the form, and all the questions are there that they have to remember to ask that potential client coming in via the phone. Then it kicks me out responses, so I can see responses there. What's good about Google Forms when I'm not answering the phone myself is this little button here. It connects to a spreadsheet, which is here, which is an Excel. Everyone knows you've got to have a good Excel spreadsheet to be able to update your CRM with the CSV upload. So from Forms, it can update there. From the form, it gives me an automatic reply into my email that I've received a communication. I can download all the communications at the end of the week. So that builds my CRM. And then Nick taught me this little darling feature at the back. In the back under the presentation tab, there is a tab there that says response. Is it, Nick? I can't read with my glasses. Basically, it says, thanks for submitting your form. You can actually put a different salutation there and automatically send them possibly a PDF, possibly a link that they can sign up to, or anything to keep that conversation warm whilst you're sending them, all from the back of that one email capture. So I've got some links on the side, which I'll throw into the chat box later. I can't see the chat box on that other screen there, but I'm happy to share with you all. So that's Google Forms. It gives me Google responses. It captures the data in Google Sheets, and I'm off at the trot. Okay, top features. Everyone always says to me, why do you still use Google? Or, oh my God, Google's terrible. These are the top features, what keeps me using it. Automates my task reminders and deadlines and follow-ups. If you know me well, if I don't write it down, or if you don't go into my directly into my calendar, chances are I might just forget it. Unfortunately, that is the way it goes. Efficient document management and cloud storage integration. I've never lost a document in Google yet. I know, touch wood, does not happen for me. Customizable forms, templates, and personalized workflows. So it is super, super flexible to use, in my opinion. Oh my gosh. So these are a couple of things that I've put links up, and again, I'll have all the links for you to share. Now, to do a workflow, if we go back to that last one, or a couple back, to do one of these workflows, there's several places you can do them from. So if you haven't seen them before, if you haven't had the chance to do a mind map before, just fast forward. Oops, sorry, wrong way. Canva. Nick and Jenny do an amazing job in Canva. Canva have an amazing amount of templates that you can use to design things like this. And then they've got flowcharts as well. Google Workspace have a flowchart in the back of that. Another platform is called Lucid. That is a little bit more trickier to use, but it can get more detailed, which is amazing. And these two things I will show you in a moment. But again, I'll put all the links in the tab. Tools to build your new workflow and to keep your intellectual property all together. Has anyone heard of Google Sites or something similar? I know a few of you may have. So I've put all my stuff into Google Sites. I've built it in the back of, you've got it, Google, funnily enough, and it houses everything, absolutely everything. If you can see that, blow that one up, I've got the whole lot. I've got everything in the back of my Google Sites, which, touch wood, if I don't need a videographer to video my undoing, someone can get my password to Google and come and run my business for me. We've created videos, we've got documents, we've got all our details, we've got our client avatar, we've got how we run things, we've got how we answer the phones. We don't know how we make coffee, but that'll come. So everything I've got is documented in Google Sites. And the other month I did help someone set up documentation in the back of his Teams. So that was another way to document that. Now, the next thing I want to show you is called Streak. It connects with Google. Oh my God, I found this a couple of months ago and have been wickedly implementing it. I have used several different sales funnels and keep warm guides, and it just to no avail, simply because for me it was, I have to click into another app, or I've got to click into another solution. There's got to be an easier one out there. So it's saving me at least an hour a day when I update all my updating. It sits in and adjacent with Gmail, and it basically is your sales funnel. So from lead to contact, it flows all the way through, and it's literally one click off my email. When I have my email open, I go no further but one click and can action any of this. It is absolutely remarkable. Integrates with Google and it sits in my email window. The other thing that I can show you, which is another Google product, and again, I found these two together and have implemented them straight away, because then I don't have to resubscribe to the other platforms I was using. It's called GMass, another Google product, which is amazing. It's a mass mail merge, so I can't remember the other one that everyone uses. It's not SurveyMonkey. But, yeah, it's a mass mail merge. It sits in Gmail. If you can see the screen here, that's a new email I'm sending out. GMass sits there as your mass mail merge. You can click it also from up top here. There's my Calendly. There's Streak there. So if we sit Streak there, so all in the taskbar of sending emails, I can send an email. Streak has got templates in it as well, or you could do your Google templates. You can actually watch. I'll be watching you people. You can watch when people open, how many times they open, what they click on in your emails, and become a voyeur of your potential clients, and obviously put times and settings and dates. That's all accessible under the squares or under that click, depending on what you want to action. The other things we've got in there is obviously Calendly. I use that a lot. And this thing here is called Rapid Reply. I found a lot of people, rapidreply.io, I think it is, Nick. It's a speech bubble, and it records your voice, but it's a voice recording that attaches into your email. So if you're writing an email and you want to be a little bit more specific, or if you're thinking the wording is sounding a bit heavy, or you can give them a voice recording at the same time that attaches straight in there, and then they can, you know, hear you, and they can, what is it? Know, like, and trust you more, not just your words, but your voice as well. There's another app that I use, which is not showing in this picture. It's called Ask Valerie. And I don't know about you, but I can never remember like disc profiling and when it comes to sales, how people, you know, need to be spoken with to get them to warm up to, you know, a possibility of selling with you. Ask Valerie takes all of that away. It actually gives me sentences that are better constructed for that client. It does a disc profile for me. So check that one out. It's very exciting. So it takes all my hard work away, especially when I'm talking to new clients. A testimonial, Lana will attest to this. Lana and I are doing a little bit more work together. Lana's based in Melbourne, who's on the call, and obviously I live on the Gold Coast. She had a client of hers who is Gold Coast based, and he was having some issues with his software app on his phone and how to navigate that. So Lana very generously shared that client, and I was the face and the hands on the other side. He came around, had a coffee, and I showed him in real time, and I slowed down for him how he was to use his app to be more productive, because he wasn't using it. And unfortunately, at the moment, we still need another meeting. But he gave me some fabulous feedback, which is one of the testimonials for tonight. Thank you so much, Chris. He's an absolute doll. He's a lovely gentleman and happy to support his business. Packages available. A lot of people always say, you know, what do you cost? You know, what's your price? And 99% of my clients now are what we call on a package. We custom it to them. They can increase the amount of time they have with us or decrease, or they can go back to an ad hoc task. So as in price range, it really just depends on what you need as a customer. But I freely give add value as much as possible. And 9 out of 10 times, if it's something that I can describe to you, and if you're savvy enough to put it all together, you're welcome to have my knowledge for free. But that is about me. Nick, there's some contact details. In business, it's, you know, savvy ways to improve your office admin. Let's work smarter, not harder.
Excellent. Thank you, Janine. So I've probably got some time for questions and answers. There's a couple in chat here at the moment. What do we got? Let's just open that up. If you have got a question, pop your hand up or sort of unmute yourself and jump in. But a couple here from Deb Williamson. Does Google Meet have time limitations like the free Zoom, or do you need the equivalent of Zoom Pro? And is Google cheaper?
Yeah, something to equivalent. I've got 2 paid Google email addresses, and I've got 1 unpaid. The unpaid only takes you to about 45 minutes, but the paid is unlimited. I've never been cut off yet.
So that's the Google Workspace account?
That's correct.
Yeah, perfect. All right. And the other question here is just wondering if your, well, here we go. Just wondering if your email address is a Gmail address, or does your info@businessconsultants.com address integrate into Gmail? So
no, that is a Gmail address.
So that's the professional Google Workspace email address. So that's what you sign up with, attached to your domain. Excellent.
Yep. That is correct.
And Alden asks, do you use Google Workspace? The answer to that would be yes.
Yes. Yes, I play in there daily. Aldwin, I'd be lost without Google now. I'm such a devotee. However, you know, clients do play in 365, and that's something that, you know, I've got to keep upskilling on as well. So.
Excellent. Any other questions here? We've got some time for some questions about maybe your systems, processes, apps, and tools. So feel free to unmute yourself or just drop it into chat.
Just going back to find some, if it updates it. Oh, yes, cool. There's some links from the slides into chat for everybody.
Excellent. So those are all the tools and things.
Awesome.
Here's a good question. Does GMass have email automation? That's from Ron.
Yes, it does. You can delay send in Gmail, which goes off the regular, what color button was that? Let me go back so I don't tell you a tale. You can delay send off the blue button, which was off to the left. Hold on, let me share screen. Sorry, Nick. So there's a delay send under this button here. And then if you were doing mass email out, say as in email campaigns, it delay sends as well. So it definitely breaks it up and not send, 5,000 emails at once. It does a drip feed delay send. And then this GMass, amazingly enough, can do automated follow-ups if you were clever to set all that up. So basically workflow processes in the back end. And the other day I was with a potential JV client. We're getting work done together. And she had Calendly worked up, but she didn't realise there was workflows put into the back of Calendly, which will do a lot of automations with thanks for booking the appointments and all that type of stuff. I sat there and gave her about 20 minutes, half an hour, and we quickly templated up some stuff, and she had that done in no time. She didn't realise what the workflows were actually there for, and she hadn't asked anyone about it. And it's like, well, let's get that fixed for you.
Yes, that's. I think you asked the question. I was hunting around for my my unmute button, realizing then that I was actually watching you on Facebook. So because I had these two screens going to monitor comments there as well. But GMass is a bit like MailChimp, except you don't have to subscribe to MailChimp. So you can, in fact, set up campaigns in there, some quite complex campaigns in there, and follow-up campaigns. It'll tell you when people have read the emails. When they haven't, you can send them down all sorts of different paths as well. So if you're wanting a CRM that is just bolted into your Gmail account or your Google Workspace account, this does the job of a lot of the CRMs. So it is pretty cool. There's a bit of a setup with it, but it'll do it.
It is. It's taken me a good 2 months, but I've set up 3 different in Streak per se. I've done 3 different sales pipelines and things like that, but it all gets governed off what is in your email addresses and what you've actioned, and then your GMass then attacks to your Google Gmail account as well. So you're not having to drop, cut, paste. It automatically feeds in there. And it's like, that's got to save you a myriad of headache, because you're not having to reconfigure any Excel spreadsheets or anything like that. It just picks up the data.
And no Zapier integrations or anything like that?
Nothing. At the end of the day, if you were like a mail out campaign person, like, Aldwin, I think you do quite a lot of mail outs, and Nick, you would too. To me, if you've got to add up the cost of everything you do and the time it takes to do it, I've been struggling for ages to actually start mass mail outs, because it was just a big effort to get it done. It was a huge effort. Like now my team sent 2 out recently.
Well, can I say, Janine, that today I've just, I think I'm 99.765% done with an automation system that I started for email, for funnels, for lead magnet funnels, that has taken me the good part of 6 months to put together. So,
how exciting.
So it's quite a complex, well, it's not complex, it's quite simple and straightforward, but it means that we can plug in any lead magnet that we like into the system there, and it will go. So when you talk about the months and months of work that puts in it, it can take quite a bit of work to get it done. And I think part of that work is actually finding out how these things actually work to do the things that you want it to do. And I think that's part of your genius, is helping people to, shortcutting them with some of that work, right?
The rabbit hole, yes. Certainly my team's been busy over the last 12 months making really short videos on where to click. So if you're savvy, you'd stop the video and just follow what she tells you to do. So all of that information will start rolling out on the other side of September. I think we're ready to start rolling that out, but that's taken a while to work all that out and put it in short form video, but I can't wait for that to launch. That's going to be amazing.
Right with you on that one, Nick, because I'm still not actively using a certain CRM that I started late last year, and I still have no automations in place for the multiple transcription processes from the telephone call to the handwritten form to the typed form to the email to Vimeo to Xero for the, I'm still just doing it all by hand,
So that's probably quite a common thing, I think, Paul. I think you're not alone there, because I do some of that as well too, until I dedicate the time and say, right, this is it. This week I'm going to come hell or high water. I'm going to get this done. But Janine, do you find that that's sort of quite a common thing, and that's what really puts people off, or they stop, or they get part of the way through?
It is a common thing. We all go networking and we all love to network, and behind everyone, we do have flaws, that our admin is not smooth. It's clunky. We haven't got half of this integrated. It's taken me a better half of 2 years to find systems that work, that I can duplicate, then that I can teach to then bring it on board, to then have it available for my team. But what I wanted to do is have the team buy in to the way we do things. So, you know what I mean? Like to write a system and a process, it does take time, and then you've got to finesse it. And it's like, oh, well, that won't work. What is the correct process from start to finish? But yeah, we're all guilty. All guilty.
So what would you say, like, if you're someone like Paul that's got that's quite a, it's an important process, but there's quite a lot of moving parts in that process there, which is developed over, a number of years. But then sort of trying to put that all into a system, it's quite a chunky thing to do. So have you got any advice as to how to actually start doing that, so that you get some progress with it?
Yeah, there's another system I didn't show you tonight. It's called, it is a workflow. It's MindMeister. I've built a whole document out for the wonderful Kevin Jensen, because his systems and processes when he deals with IT was quite hard to get his mind around, like to be able to document and to put a workflow process in.
So what's it called?
Started MindMeister. Kevin just wrote down everything, dot pointed things, and then we looked at it in which order he should be doing things in. And we juggled it on paper, and then we wrote a workflow process from that. So getting it out of your head is the first thing, and then juggle it around, even if it's, as they say, post-it notes on a window or wherever you want to do it, but somewhere where you can move things around so it all fits in, and then add in your cloud-based solution that does each one. And then if you're going to do a bit of a change and a DOS around, see if you can find something cheaper, easier, less fussy. You're going to overhaul it for productivity. Does that answer your question, Paul?
Yeah.
I know.
I'd rather go and buy a new camera and then spend a week learning how to drive my new camera. See,
that's your procrastination tool, isn't it? Yeah. I don't want to do this, so I'm going to go and buy a new camera.
Yes.
I know. With me, that the project that I've had going, which has taken me sort of 6 months to get to where it is, I had to carve it up into small chunks small achievable chunks that I could finish. And once I finished one, I could walk away from it, and I could come back and then start the next one. And it's really just been a process of putting together a number of processes that are all interlinked, but just handling one micro process at a time. And when I handled that one micro process, then I started to get a sense of achievement. I have to say, this morning, when I got up this morning, I was over it all, and I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. But, it had come this far. It's like, well, actually, I can't let it go, because if I don't finish it, then I'm no further ahead. And there was a saying there that someone said, I think it was Dale Beaumont said, he said, you don't get paid for things that you start, you get paid for things that you finish. And the most important part is the finishing part. I've got so many projects that I've started and so many little things that I've started, but that's not what brings you in the money, the time, the process or the system. It's what you actually finish. And my lesson was so breaking it down to very small achievable chunks there. Finish all those chunks, and when you finish them all, then the big things are finished.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. You've got to start somewhere. Pick a starting point.
Hey, Janine, I had one further question, which I just put into chat about, have you had a go at using Google's appointment scheduler rather than Calendly?
Yes, we did have a play in that about 6 months ago, and I just didn't think it was a good fit for me personally. I think because I've used Calendly for so long.
Right.
My team member, she prefers to use it offshore for her calendar. So when I want to book time with her, I book it into her Google appointment calendar. She runs one of my emails for me. But yeah, I just prefer Calendly. I think because I teach people Calendly as well, whereas I haven't had the use of having to teach people the Google appointment calendar yet. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I just started having a bit of a play with it, and it doesn't seem to have the same functionality quite as Calendly, but
No.
it also means not paying for another app. So I thought I'd
I
persevere with it.
Yep, I hear you. I have a feeling like everything, like Facebook and socials, Google are ever evolving. So, you know, if a few of us get on and say this is still a little clunky, you just never know what you end up with. So
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Thanks for that.
you're welcome.
Excellent. Another question there from Ron, who asks, how do you connect?
Just say,
sorry, not Ron. No, the other Ron, Ron Pierre.
oh, the other
there
Ron.
are two Rons here.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So Ron Pierre is asking, how do you connect your business email address to Gmail?
Me, Ron, look, I'll have a chat with you tomorrow about that one. I just don't have the words to pull off the top of my tongue to look in the back without having it open on my screen. But if you'd like to email me tomorrow, we'll connect and I'll take you through it and we can get it done straight away.
Perfect. And in fact, they call it, I think, if they haven't changed the name again, Google Workspace. It used to be called Google Apps, and then G Suite. The current name is Google Workspace. But yeah, it's a bit of a setup, and there is some steps to do it. But it is a really robust system, and it does connect with all sorts of things. If you don't mind the fact that Google will know everything about you. So they already do anyway.
They do.
So, so you know, the fact that they have this information is probably not going to change that as well too.
No.
All right. Any other questions here? What are the other tools you mentioned? That were, hang on, what's this? This is an old one. What were the tools you mentioned there other than Lucid to help you with emails? And we're reading your lips there, Janine.
Lucid doesn't help with emails. Lucid actually builds your workflow, as in your map or your blueprint, as people call it. With emails, it was the GMass, adding the GMass to do your multi-email mass email out action. And what was it?
What was the audio one you said, Janine, that you could?
Oh, sorry. The audio one is Rapid Reply, and I think it's .io. Or do I not have that there? I do have a link which I can send you, and let's just drop it. Hold on, I'll go find it, and it will give you access to some tools that I've been sending out.
And to get the little Calendly showing up at the bottom, as well as that GMass that did that?
The Calendly just connects straight from Calendly. So
That's
That
is that
is, Calendly is the proper Calendly feature. I've just got it sitting on the bottom of my email sending.
okay.
That can attach directly.
So that'd be on the paid plan, wouldn't it, with Calendly?
Yes, it would be.
And it is a Google extension. So if you go into the Google extension store, you'll often find a lot of these apps. So if you go into the extension store, which I'm not sure where extensions are, this is if you've got a paid Google Workspace account. On the top right-hand side of your browser, when you're in your Google or any Google screen, the three little dots, if you click on that, you can find the extensions. It'll take you through to the extension store. And inside that is pretty much every extension that third-party apps like Calendly, Lucidchart, you'll find all of them sitting in there.
I've just dropped into the chat, Nick, a Google form, and attached to the back of the Google form are links to different things that I use. And there's 3 of them in total. So once you get the first one, then I'll send out the second and the third. So
Awesome.
You're
Thank
welcome
you.
down that rabbit hole anytime.
Fantastic. Excellent. All right.
Oop,
Any last
frozen.
questions? Any last questions? Or we've got a bit of a giveaway tonight, don't we? For one lucky person.
No.
All right. Well, let's give Janine a huge round of applause. She is a tech wizard. And she's gone into the depths of some of these tools a lot deeper than I have. And she's emerged and able to help other people with these as well too. So now is probably a really good time to save the chat with all of those links that are in there. If you're not sure where chat is, if you have a look at the bottom of your Zoom screen, there's a little chat icon. It's a speech bubble. Click on that. It'll bring up chat. And at the bottom of chat are 3 little dots. If you click those 3 little dots, it'll ask you to save the chat. So there's an option there to save the chat. And when you do save it, there's a link that shows just above the dialog box for about 5 seconds, which says something like show and find or show on your computer. And if you click on that, it'll take you straight through to that document that you have saved. If you're not sure where it is, usually it'll just go straight into your downloads folder. And if you save it now and something else gets into chat there that you want to save as well, just go and save it again. It will save it to the same document. All right. So we do have a prize draw for today as well too. So tell us what that is, Janine.
Oh dear, Nick, that's a bit of a deep dive, that one. Gee, I think it's valued or could be valued around about $195. Let's take one of your systems that you would like documented and let's reverse engineer it, get it written up, get it documented and get it housed somewhere.
Excellent. So you get
One
some.
system, choose one.
One. So I've got a system, Janine. It's my entire business.
No.
That doesn't count for the one. Okay, so you've got to choose a small system
A
in your
system.
business.
One thing in your day-to-day business that you would like to start documenting. We'll show you how to do the process and then we will leave you to do the rest. Or, if you need more help, we're happy to help.
Excellent. All right, well, let's bring up our wheel of names. We've got everybody's name in this wheel of names. And of course, you have to be in the room to win it. So we've got all your names there. So let's spin the wheel.
It's one time when a live stream won't do.
All right, virtual drum roll. And our winner is
Hey.
Helen Pope. Helen Pope, are you still here? If you are here,
I had
Helen.
to go, but then I came back. So
Oh, wasn't that lucky, eh?
yeah, meant to be.
Well, wasn't that worth coming back? She's come back for the after party and has been the winner. Excellent. Oh, well, congratulations. You probably know Janine anyway, so but we'll connect you up. Janine will connect you up. Whatever happens, our people will put you in touch with Janine's people so that you can pull out one of these systems and get yourself sorted and get your time back. Maybe make some more money as well.
That'd be nice.
Excellent. Well, that is our show for tonight. So this is Business Owners Smashing It Online. Of course, if you want to watch this again and pick up some of those tech tips again, this will be up on the YouTube channel tomorrow, the SmashGo YouTube channel. The link is in chat now, so you can save it, you can click on it, go and subscribe to that channel. When you subscribe, click the little bell that appears beside the subscribe button, and then you'll get a notification as soon as this episode has been uploaded. And of course, there's lots of other episodes in there for you to explore as well. I think at last count, there's almost 400. So if you do have a bit of time on your hands, and go and explore some of the other speakers that we've had as well. And of course, the Facebook group, Business Owners Smashing It Online. If you are not a member, go and join that and go and introduce yourself in there as well. There's all sorts of people in there, and who knows who you get to connect with by introducing yourself. So again, thanks everyone for coming along tonight. Thanks, Janine, for sharing some of your apps and tools and your wisdom tonight. And look forward to seeing you all back again next week. Have a great night.